Lance, good morning. Thank you for hopping on and watching. Hi, Jean. As always, thank you for sharing. Hi, Vesta. Good morning. And Sandy. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me this Thursday morning. This is part 2 of the school glue technique that I started last week. Hi, Tony. Thank you for sharing. Man, it's not going to be too long before I get to see you and Jean as you stop through Ohio on your little excursion. Hi, Mindy. Okay, great. Yep, we'll have a week to play with getting your cards done. So, totally understandable. Okay, so last week I showed a technique using school glue to create, putting it down on your cardstock. It isn't actually a total resist, but what the glue does when it dries, it will determine how much of your ink is absorbed. So the more ink you would put on top of the glue when it dried, you might see more of the pattern that the glue left behind. The less ink, definitely you can see where when you started sponging your ink color on, that in some areas it would grab it really dark and other places it was light. And it's when it hits the glue that you have your lighter areas. So it's a really, really fun technique. I hope you go back and watch part 1 if you haven't seen it yet, and that you try this. Today, it's all about taking, after you practice, I wanted you to do a 6x6 piece of artwork. And we're going to use that 6x6 in a one-sheet wonder. And we're going to make 4 cards today out of your art piece. So, and it is art. Don't let anybody fool you. It is art. Hi, Doris. Okay, who else am I missing here? I just saw some names go by. Too fast on my phone. So if I didn't see your name, I will go back and look again. If I lean in too far for into my phone to read, you guys are like, can she even see what she's doing? So anyway, I don't like to miss anybody when you let me know that you're here, but sometimes that happens. So we're going to be doing a 6x6 one-sheet wonder today, creating 4 cards with your art piece. And if you didn't get a chance to get it done, that's okay. You got a whole week to do your cards, and then next week, as always, I like to draw a name for those who participated and send a little something to you. Hi, Lisa. Where are you watching from? Your name is new to me. So before we get started on that, I guess there's one thing that I want to show you, but I'll do it when I flip the camera because it's a lot easier than. Hi, Sandy. Logansport, Indiana. I know somebody in Logansport, and maybe you do too. Hi, Julie. Hey, Barb. Okay, so when I flip the camera around, I want to show you a couple of things before we get started. So I always get a little apprehensive about switching these things over. So we'll flip the camera. I'm going to try and not get you seasick. So I bring this down, and then I have to flip it so everything's in the right orientation. And let me just move things here. Okay, we'll adjust as needed. So my name is Julie Heights, and my Facebook page is a chirpy card maker of quilts and more. I love to make quilt cards. I also like to try other techniques, but I love making quilt cards. And speaking of quilt cards, today's the last day to register for this block of the month barn quilt card kit. getting ready for October, we have our black cat with the pumpkin and the traditional quilt block called Card Tricks. And the reason why I picked this block was because it had the word trick in it, and we are focusing on the fun of October. So these are our Quilters Halloween Block of the Month card kits. The card kit is $10, includes free shipping and everything you need to make these cards. You'll get the patterns, a PDF, and I do a Facebook Live at the end of the month for those who want to watch me put the barn quilt blocks together. Just message me your email and your mailing address if you want to get on the list of who I send the card kits to. Okay, so that is that. And then one other thing I wanted to show you, and I meant to show you last week, but because I was running behind, I kind of got a little miscombobulated and forgot. But I wanted to thank Teresa Hinchman for thinking of me when she was shopping one day. This right here is how I keep all of my patterns when I'm drawing things up. Okay, they're all really loose. You can see I've used all of the grid paper in this notebook. So a lot of times I go to pick this up and everything will fall out of it. Teresa was shopping one day and she thought of me. And look at this book. This notebook here has grid paper and it's spiral bound, and they're 1-inch squares with 1/8 inch squares in between. And she sent this to me, and it's so perfect because my pages always fall out. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably, like with washi tape and stuff, all the patterns I've already done, I'll probably use the first pages like a scrapbook and put everything down so I don't have to redraw them and color them and things like that. But from then on, and I can use both sides because they're the exact same. So I thought this was so cool and I wanted to thank her for it. It's the packaging actually was Blake Riley on the packaging, but it's called Stitch by Lori Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. So if anybody is interested in a spiral bound grid paper notebook like that, you can go look it up. And then Teresa made this really cute little card. And she was just thanking me for being an inspiration, which I thought was really, really sweet. Because that's what I strive to do, is be an inspiration to everybody. So, with that, let's get to our cards. Oh, look at the little gadget I got in my order yesterday. I really like this. I'm glad I finally got that corner rounder, and then you can make these. They have two other, it's the Trio Punch. So that's something new I get to play with. Thought I'd throw that into today's project also. Let's look at some samples that I did with the technique. This was one that I did last week. Oh, by the way, this is September's host code. If I can help you with an order and you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would really appreciate your business. But that's September's host code. So these were some of the designs, the inking that I did last week. And then I stamped on them and gave it some texture with some texture stamps. These stamps here are from the Painted Poppies stamp set. And so I was just playing around with making, what we're doing is we're making our own designer series paper. Here's some other color combinations that I did. You can see right here how this grabbed a darker, the ink got darker right here, just in like this really fine line. Well, that's where the glue stopped, and then you had your raw cardstock underneath, and wherever it hits the raw cardstock, your ink will be the darkest. So it kind of caught that edge and then lightened up as it got on top of the glue. So here are just some, and they always look different once the ink has a chance to dry and settle in a little bit. Here's another one that I did. Now these next samples I'm going to show you are when you put a lot of ink down. Am I getting out of camera here? Okay. This is what happens when you put a lot of ink down. When you just keep sponging that ink color on there. When it hits the raw cardstock, you get your darker areas. But sometimes the more ink it hits the glue. So you never really know. It's really hard to explain. It never really always happens the same way every single time. But if you can see these really dark areas that reminds me of a world map, that is the raw cardstock. And then when it comes over the glue, it lightens up. But just by putting more ink down, you really bring out what I think looks like a map, a world map. I think of these all as being little islands or something like that. But just playing with just putting more color down. This one, where's the one? I got one that reminds me of an oil slick. The Blackberry Bliss was really light, but if I kept putting it down, I eventually got the dark Blackberry Bliss color that we love. And so this is just playing around with color and adding more layers and layers of ink. Okay, so I just wanted to show you those samples when I was playing around last week of the possibilities with the technique. What ink did I use to stamp? I just used our ink pads, Lisa. I just used our regular ink pads. Let's see, am I catching up? Hi, Doris. How are you? Just want to catch up on some comments here. Okay. Computer's a little sluggish. Oh boy, I think I've got enough charge on my phone. I think I'm going to take this cord off because it's creating a shadow. Or maybe that's, yeah, okay. So, with one of my 6x6s, I created these 4 cards from the one sheet wonder. And these are the cards that we're going to be making today out of your artwork. These are the cards you're going to be making today. I am working on a PDF with photos and directions that I can add to the file section. I am working on that so that you can go back and get all the cutting instructions. So this is the possibilities of what we're going to do with your artwork. The first card is a fun fold. It's the bookbinding fold. This is the piece that I am working with. I've got Granny Apple Green, Pear Pizzazz, Bermuda Bay, Highland Heather, Fresh Freesia, and then I just went into my stamps. Now these circles are from the texture stamps that you can get for free with a qualifying order. This is a celebration item, these stamps right here. And then this little pine cone was from this is like a pine cone image. I thought was a nice little texture. So just going through and finding stamps that I thought could give it a little bit more depth with some texture. That's all that I did. And we're going to cut this up and then create the cards. And this is the One Sheet Wonder pattern. I've used this before. I've seen so many demonstrators share this on Pinterest and in YouTube. I really don't know who designed it, but it is a pattern that I really like. It's one that I go back to. This image will be part of the file that I create, so that you can go back and see how you need to cut it. There's a little bit of waste here, but I'm thinking you could make a little tag out of this area right here if you wanted to, and then that way there would be no waste. We're going to do 2 cards in landscape mode, 2 cards in portrait. Last night I did put the cutting instructions on the Chirpy Card Maker page, so you don't have to wait till I get the PDF up. You can just go back to that post and see what you have to cut. Okay? Oh, thanks, Tony. Yeah, I mean, blue greens are my favorite. Anything that reminds me of the ocean and the water are my favorite colors. Those are my color that's my color combination that I always go to, blue, greens, and purples. Hi, Teresa. Okay, so let's cut this together. If you've got your 6x6, let's cut this together. And as we cut them, you can maybe put the letter on somewhere that's going to be hidden on your artwork, on the back. Put the letter so you know which card that it goes with. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and the first cut, and since I have this little piece here that I'm probably not going to use, if there's a corner that I'm really not happy with, then maybe what I would do is I would position that down here so that when you cut it off, it's not part of what you're using. But I have found the sweetest surprises come from something that you just instinctively thought you weren't going to like. Okay? So our first cut is we're going to do a 1.5 inch. We're going to cut it all the way down, and then we're going to cut a 1/2 inch off so it measures 1.5 by 5.5. So we're just going to go 1.5. We're going to turn it, and I'm going to bring this up to the top because I can see what the 1.5 or the 5.5 is going to be. And I'm going to cut that. And this is your little waist. If this was all just maybe there wasn't any texture to it, like I said, you could make a little flag out of this, or it could be a little tag. So if you don't want to throw that away, don't. And this strip right here is what we are going to call D. So I am just going to, on the back of this, put D and set that aside. Now I'm going to come back in with my piece, and we're going to cut a 3-inch strip and then subcut it into these dimensions. So find 3 inches on your trimmer. Make sure everything's nice and flat so you don't get a crooked cut. Mine was wanting to lift up, and if I would have cut right then and there, it would have been crooked. So here's your 3-inch strip. We're going to turn this. We're going to cut another at 3 inches again so that we have a 3-inch square. And this is A. And I'm just going to set that right back up over here to the side next to the strip that we already did. Now with what you have left, we're going to cut 1-inch strips. So these are going to be 1x3s. I hope I'm in camera. Okay, so now we have 3 1x3s, And these are actually, these are B's. We're going to give them the letter B. And then I am going to put them back just like how I had just underneath, kind of keeping with this so I know where they're at. And now this last strip that's 1.5 inches across here, we're going to cut this down into 4 1.5-inch squares. Maybe get some of this stuff out of my way so that you can see my trimmer. And these will be given the letter C. It just helps to keep you organized when you know which ones you should be reaching for. Okay? So those are all my C's, and I'm just going to put them over here on the side. And so we've got all of our pieces cut. And get the trimmer out of the way. And let's make sure that I'm here in view. So here are our pieces. And then we have our 4 squares. And this was your little scrap piece. Okay, so the first card that we are going to do is we are going to need, we're going to do our fun fold and get that out of the way. So that's our book binding fold, and we need our A block here. So we're just going to go ahead and set these aside. And we're going to bring in our cardstock. Some of this I've already gotten ready, so you don't have to see me like glue my inserts in and things like that. So what this is a 4 1/4 by 11 inches. It's a half a sheet of the 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I scored it at 5.5, and I scored it at 4. Where's my cheat sheet? 4 1/4. Okay, so when it's going to open like this because we're going to glue this down. I've already got my insert in there. The other pieces that we need, you need a sentiment. Here's your artwork here. This is the layering piece for your artwork, and that's just a 1/4 inch bigger. So that is 3 1/4 inches square. And the embossed cardstock, I love this brick embossing folder. This started out at 4 inches by 5 1/4. I cut a 1-inch strip off. That's going to go here on our binding, and then I trimmed this one down to 4 inches, and that's going to nestle right in here on our other side. Okay, so what we can do is, before we put this, we're going to put this part down first, and then I'm going to show you the ribbon that I'm using and give you a little tip on how I customized the color. So we're going to put this, you just want to, what you're going for is a nice even border all the way around. Okay, and before we glue this down, I want to run some ribbon behind it. What I did was I took the polka dot, the white polka dot ribbon, and I took my dark Highland Heather blends and I colored this ribbon. I wanted to bring the circles in because I have circles going on in my artwork. So I just colored it on both sides with the alcohol blend. Did things just freeze up on Facebook? Hi, Sharon. Sharon, I did mention that to practice on the smaller pieces and then do a 6x6 for the one sheet wonder. Hello, Teresa. Karen? I am going to refresh my computer just to see if Facebook did not freeze on me. Okay, it looks like it's back. Oh boy, it totally froze on my end. Okay, we're back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my ribbon through here. And I'm not going to get fancy with the bow. I'm just going to tie this in a nice little knot. Bows are not my forte, no matter how I try. But I can tie a knot. You're looking at me like, really? Because you're struggling with the knot. Oh my goodness. Sometimes I am just all fingers. Let's try this again. Get him to come through here. There we go. I'm just going to tie a knot. I think these polka dots are so cute. And then we're just going to trim off the ends. There we go. So there's our little ribbon there. Now what we're going to do is with our embossing layer, we are going to glue that down. What's fun about this one sheet wonder is it's all cut the same as you see other people do it, but how you finish it off makes it your own. This is the template, and then you just create your own design. So there's the rest of our brick. Then what I'm going to do is I want to take this layered piece and I just want to sit it inside that embossed layer. And you decide what angle you want it on, and then go ahead and glue it down. Sometimes it's fun not to do everything straight on. And then your artwork, that will be straight. Let me get my, oh, sorry for my arm being in here. Your artwork will be straight. However, the layer behind it's going to be offset, okay? And you can glue that down. Make sure you get some glue in your corners, but don't get so much that it's going to come out from underneath your cardstock, because you want those corners. There's a layer underneath it, and sometimes they want to stay lifted up. Hold that down. Okay. And then you've got your sentiment. You could put it down here so that you're not covering up. I think, you know what? I think I like that. In my first one, I put this right in the center. But I think I'm going to put hello down here so that you can see your artwork. And I'm just going to use some dimensionals. And then we're going to go back in and we're going to glue down the binding part of the card. I didn't forget. I just kind of got ahead of myself here. So we'll just take the backings off. And for this one, I am just going to set this down here in the corner. These are just such cheerful colors. Okay, so there's my hello. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to put some glue. Remember, I don't want it coming out onto, you know, coming out from underneath and getting on this piece here or gluing it together. So I'm just going to put a nice thin, and then I'm going to hold it down. And here is where I don't want to see glue coming out of, because once this closes, I could glue it together, and I don't want to do that. So this creates your bookbinding fold. Okay, so here's the first card. Now all we got to do is put a little bling on it. And again, what I did was I took that alcohol blends and I colored in these little opals for my cards. I am just so giddy about being able to customize the bling to a color that I need. I just can't get over that. So I'm going to take 3 of these, and I am just going to put these on my card and call this one done. So that's the first card with your 6x6 artwork. Okay, that one's done. Now let's get the other landscape card out of the way, and that one is this one right here. So you are going to need the 3 B pieces. This is the ones by 3. And then when I had you cut your layering pieces, I had you cut 3 of the, whatever you chose for your coordinating colored cardstock. You have 3 pieces of the layering cardstock that you're going to glue those pieces down to. Like I said, I already glued my insert in. This is going to get glued on the front, so let's get that taken care of. These cards really do go together rather quick, and you don't have to make your own artwork to use them. You could be using designer series paper to make 4 quick cards. Okay, so we got that down. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue our B pieces to their layer. Again, we're going for a nice even border all the way around. I am dressed for fall because it was so chilly this morning, and now that it's warming up, I really wish right now I had a t-shirt or something a little cooler on. And there we go. So those are our 3 pieces that we are going to center on our card. This was my example. I think I'm going to change it up and maybe put the thanks. This is pretty plain. I could just put the thanks in the middle, but I kind of like that granny apple green. So I'm going to play with where I want my pieces to go. I think the more interesting ones will go on the outside. Yep, I think that's what I'm going to do. The thanks is going to go in the middle. So once you like your placement, then you can go ahead and glue these down. The hardest part for this right here for me is not getting wonky. I'm going to do both my ends first, and then I can center that middle one. Just want to make sure I'm not too wonky. And doing this sitting down sometimes is hard to really know what your perspective is, because if I was standing over the top of my card, I'm sure I would be a lot better at the placement. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. And then get our dimensionals. I used the layered circle dies for my sentiment. And the sentiment is from Biggest Wish. So my hello and my thanks came from the Biggest Wish stamp set. I really, really like that one. So let's put that. I am going to kind of put this in front of me like that. We'll just go ahead and put that right there. And then again, come in with our custom opals. Maybe put one, maybe let's put some on our artwork. Maybe right there. And maybe one right there. And leave this nice and clean. So there's card number 2. Okay. Now we'll work on the cards that are in portrait mode. Hi, Jennifer. Oh, good. I hope you do come back and watch the replay. It'll be there. Thank you for popping in. So we'll get, look at the difference in the feel here. This has a really nice fall feel to it by blending. I've got some pumpkin in there. This has a really fall feeling to it. And this texture stamp is from the Celebration stamp set. I just used a different one of them. And here's the little pine cones. This one here is from Positive Thoughts, I think. But look at just the feel. You got bright and cherry, and then you've got a fall feel. So your colors will definitely lend to what kind of feel it gives you. Okay, like what season are you in? So the next one we're gonna do is this one right here. We're bringing in the squares with flair. Technique that we did like a month ago maybe. We're just going to round off 2 sides of our squares to give it this beautiful flare, but instead of putting them like in a square, we're going to offset them. What I'm going to do differently with this card is I think I'm going to take my sentiment and again put it in the center, instead of putting my sentiment down here, just to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to keep that in front of me just for an example. I've already rounded off 2 corners that are opposite from each other, and I did use my new punch. I'm going to try something in front of you once we round off our corners on our artwork. I think I want to add this little design to it. So let's glue down our embossed layer. The cards always go together really fast once you've got all the prep done. Okay, we gotta move him over just a smudge. Okay, so there's our brick, our embossed layer there. And we've already got the inside done. These, what we're gonna do is you're gonna create that flower, the petals, the points at the top and the bottom on the left-hand side. I'm gonna butt those up together. And then on this side, we're just gonna go up. You can determine how far up you want them to go, but lay it out, see if you like it first. What you want to be doing is here in the middle, you want your straight edges, okay? You want your curved pieces to be out here. You don't want them in the center there. So I like that. So then what I'll do is I'm just gonna, oh, doesn't that figure? I'm just gonna take these and I am gonna glue down each one of them. You're just going to butt these up next to each other. That doesn't end up perfect. I'm going to be covering the center anyway with my sentiment. So this, we're just going to bring this down a little bit. You can put these in any orientation that you want. I just thought that this came out really pretty. So here we have our base layers here. Okay. Now when we bring in our art pieces, we're going to bring in, with your corner rounder, we're going to, again, we are going to round off opposite corners. Just make sure that it's in there all the way. And then what I want to do is I want to turn my trio punch this way and bring this little accent here. And I think in this corner here, I'm going to put that back in. And here, I'm just playing. This was something that came to me when I was getting ready this morning. So I don't know how this is going to really turn out. But when I punch that out, when I go to put that, wait a minute, what did I do wrong here? Oh no, you know what I did? I got in a hurry and I think, oh, I did not layer the, I didn't go up 1/4 inch. Okay. Ah, my bad. I do not like it when I do this. So what my idea was, is when this was down in there, see how the purple comes up through there? But you're going to want to put, I would want to put this where I can see it, because I'm going to put my hello there. So maybe it actually would look better up here, because then my hello isn't blocking it. Oh, my bad, you guys. I am so sorry. I cut my squares here the same size as my artwork, and I wanted to go up 1/4 inch. So what I can do here to save myself, but don't do this because follow the directions, I can cut these down and then continue on with the design. So let's just, so that we don't get behind, you would round off your opposite corners, and then you would fit them inside your layered piece. Okay, the only thing different that I was practicing or wanted to see how it would look is if I punched a little design in the one corner, and I could still layer that. I just wanted to bring in the bottom layer as another element. Do you see that? I certainly don't want to get behind schedule here. So offset the DSP, yeah. So, So what I will end up doing is, so I don't have to start over, is I'm gonna cut these down. If this was 1 1/2, then I would want to cut these down to 1 1/4 and go back in. Let's move on to the next card, and if we've got time, then I'll come back and I'll do this in front of you. But this is the design. I was going to put my sentiment in the middle, finish off with my rhinestones, and I'm just going to leave this here open. Okay? I was just going to leave that open. So let's come back to this one. Let's not get too far behind. And I am so sorry for the oops there. So sorry. The last card out of our 6x6 one sheet wonder is this one. This is really, really easy. The difference in the cutting instructions for our background layer on this one is that I wanted to cut down the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 to make it 4 by 5 1/2, because I want to leave this strip of my card base showing to add another color into it. And this piece here is going to get glued all the way to the edge, leaving this strip right here. We'll go back to that other one. We are going to line that up with the right side of our card. Make sure the top and bottom is nice and flush, and then just lay that down. Here I've got a little extra on my fold showing, and I can trim that down, or I can leave it as just a little bit of an accent, right? So this is D. We're just going to glue this down, leaving a border on just the left and the right side. Okay? I get so worked up trying to make this perfect for you guys, and then I go and make a boo-boo. Well, we can problem solve together. Okay, and if you have anything that is sticking out past there, you can just trim it off. That way it's nice and flush. And then we're going to glue this over all the way over to the left side of that embossed front, like that. Now you can certainly add ribbon, any embellishing that you want to do to your cards. Okay. So there's your artwork being displayed in this beautiful strip here. I love this texture down here. And then what I would do is I am just going to pop that up right there. So these did go together really quick until I realized that I made a cutting error when I was in a hurry. Let's put that right there. And then bring in our bling. And let's put, oh, he's turning on me. Okay, so there's the other card. You could add ribbon if you wanted to. You could add some more, kind of like this little tiny strip here showing. What it is when I when I made my score line, I was off just a little bit, but I can live with that. Okay, so that was that card. So let's bring in my boo-boo. And quickly, let's trim these. Let's trim these down to, instead of 1.5, I'm going to trim these down to 1 1/4. So we can finish that card. You just want to go 1 1/4 on 2 sides. Let's make sure that these were 1.5. Yeah, so I want to go 1 1/4. No, the whole thing is like, oh, what side do I want to take off? And that way they're going to sit in there really nicely. Okay. We are just problem solving together. Now this one could be a little tricky since I punched that. How in the world? Let's do 1 1/4. I want that out of my way. Seems like no matter where I put it, I'm gonna, oh, here we go. I'm gonna get it. I might have been able to save myself a little bit. And then one more. And then all we have to do is come back in and round 2 corners. Oh, we want to be on the corner rounder side. Oh boy, does this get tight when you go that small. Let's see. But it works. It just has to, you just got to make sure it's all the way in there. Boy, I am learning a lot right now. Let's see if this works. Okay, great. Could make myself a little paddle out of a scrap piece of paper and stick that in there. So far, so good. Okay, and then one more. Put that all the way in there. I want to make sure that that corner is all the way up in there. Okay, and now I'm going to go back in. And I want to add that little flower. Yay! That one's already done. If you see what I'm doing and you have any tips you want to give me, please, please put them in the comments, because at this point, I'm just trying to save myself. Make sure that's all the way in there. Okay, got that one. Just saving myself from feeling really foolish that I didn't pay attention. Measure twice, cut once. That went right out the window. There we go. Okay, we got our pieces. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's bring back in our card here. And again, I want to be able to see this little design element that we punched out with those little tiny flowers. See how it brings the Highland Heather peeking up through your artwork here? Let's maybe put that there, and then where did my button go? Oh, here it is. So if I put that, okay, this one I'm gonna want to be down here, because I don't want to cover up that pretty. This one might leave there. Oh, I forgot to do the other side. Ugh. No wonder he didn't look right. Okay, much better. Let's put that one right back there. If I put the hello, that seems like it would work okay. I might still be covering them up a little bit, and I think that's because my pieces are so tiny since I cut it down. If I had done it correctly, then it would have been fine. There's that one. And again, I was just, something popped into my head, like, what if I did this, and kind of creating on the fly. Just move it out a little bit closer here so that it gives me more room. I really do like that element, that little peekaboo element here. Oh my God, now I forgot which way I wanted to do this one. Was it there? Or was it there? Oh well. I picked it up and lost my orientation there. All is not lost. I really do like that little peekaboo window right there. And then we're just going to pop this up. Take all those backings off. I'm going to put that there. Hello. And then finish off with our opals. I love that we were able to save it. And let's put this one maybe, let's balance it out over here. So there is our other card. So if we bring back in your One Sheet Wonder cards, look at how cute these are. There's our fun fold, our book binding. There's our fun fold element. And here's the last one. But aren't they cute? And it's your artwork. You created the designer series, your own designer series paper. But don't those look fun? Are they all in camera for you guys? Turn the top left one. Did I do it right, Tony? Because I see this after the fact now that it's glued down. You're right, Sharon. I could have brought out the Creative Memories corner rounder because it's so much tinier. I wouldn't have been fighting. I wouldn't have been fighting sticking my pieces in so deep. I could have just brought this out. But I wanted to, you know, stick with showing the Stampin' Up! Punch. But I did make it harder for myself. And like Tony was saying, I could have put that small square on a Post-it note and kind of used it as the Post-it note as a paddle, something that would give me the extra reach that I needed. But I love that you're sharing it in the comments for somebody else who might not have known that that was an option that they had. So all the troubleshooting, all the ideas and the suggestions, is so great when these things happen, because putting them in the comment is going to help a new card maker or even a seasoned card maker who just, gosh, I forgot that I could do that. So I love that you share in the comments. Jean's going to get started on hers. Yay! And so if you haven't done the technique yet, play with it this week. Next, I'm going to give you a whole week to do your cards. All you have to do is post a picture of them in the Quilt Cards and More Facebook group. That's our private little group. And then I will draw a name from those who shared their artwork with us. And I will be working on getting the PDF up in the files section so that you can go back to it. For now, you have this video, and I did put in the cutting instructions in a post last night on the Chirpy Card Maker page. But I will work hard at getting that file done so that you have a quick and easy reference. Oh, and did you all see what I did? I am on YouTube now. And basically what it is for now, because I am trying to balance out life, is I'm using YouTube as a place to post my Facebook lives, like a replay. For a lot of people, they find it easier to find the videos in a YouTube channel. Once, you know, things slow down, then I can be creating some pre-taped demonstrations that I can throw up over on the YouTube channel too. But for now, it's another place for me to post the Thursday Facebook Lives and make it easy for people to find them. But I did it. I went and added another thing to my little journey here to help bring people over to my page and to see if I can be of any inspiration to them. So yes, now there is a YouTube channel. So it's it's under my name, Julie Heights. If you go over to YouTube, just put in Julie Heights. It should come up. Yeah, I have another way to share. So it's exciting, but I'm trying to balance. A lot of time gets put into doing the computer part of an online, what's the word I want? An online presence. There's a lot of time and work that goes into that, and I'm trying to balance things with my life and things like that. So I'm trying not to get ahead of myself because I don't want to feel like it's overwhelming. But I think I'm ready for a YouTube channel. I already had it set up 9 years ago when I shared a video of my cat and my dog. So it was already there. It was just uploading the videos. And I'm going to go back and get caught up with all the lives that I've done. And can you believe it's going to be a year in October that I've been doing lives? It's been so exciting, but there's a lot of video to upload. So I'm doing it very slowly and working in the present and then working my way back as far as getting old videos posted over to YouTube. So I hope you enjoyed your One Sheet Wonder project for today. And who knows what next week's going to be like. But play this week. Play with the technique. When you are comfortable with the technique, then make a 6x6 piece of artwork and then chop it up into the pieces that you need to make your cards, okay? Let's see. Oh, Tony, you're welcome. Oh, thanks for subscribing to my channel. Hi, Lori. Yeah, it's fun to see yourself out there like that. I gotta admit, it's fun. It's all part of the journey. Did you all happen to see, I don't know if you follow Lisa Curcio, but I think it was on Instagram maybe. There was a picture of what she's like in the background, and there's a picture of her setup, her lighting, and what goes into when she makes her videos and stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I am so not there. I don't know if I'll ever be at that level, but it's really fun to see how the people who inspire you, how their journey and how far they've come and where they're at right now, and just knowing that at one time they're in the very place that I am right now. And what I love about the journey that I'm on is that I can do it in the time where I feel comfortable, and I can take those baby steps and have just as much fun as if I had been established for a long, long time. So it's really neat to see that the demonstrators who have really made it big, that they started out taking the baby steps that I am right now. I wish I had been doing card making, taking it more seriously 20 years ago. But when your life will often determine the pace that you're at. So I'm just loving where I'm at right now. I love being able to spend time with you all right where I'm at right now in life. So I am having a lot of fun. I see opportunities for me, but they'll all fall into place when they're meant to fall into place. So I'm just going to enjoy the ride. So I will see everybody next Thursday, and have a really, really good afternoon and a really good week. Thanks for watching.